When I was 16, I graduated from one of the most prestigious high schools in our town. It was a place where wealth seemed to be the main language, and I was definitely not fluent. Most of the students, maybe 60%, came from rich families. Another 20% were middle class, and then there was me, part of the final 20%, the low-class kids. I often felt isolated, like an outsider looking in. My classmates had the latest gadgets and went on expensive vacations, while my world was much smaller. But my father, he was my hero. He refused to let me feel less than anyone else. He worked so hard to give me nice school supplies, a sturdy bag, and good shoes. He made sure I had brand new uniforms and enough allowance so I could buy snacks with my friends without worrying. He made me feel rich in love and support, even when our wallets were thin. The school was run by nuns, and looking back, I can't say my experience with them was positive. It felt like there was a clear line drawn between the rich and the poor, and the nuns seemed to stay firmly on the side of wealth. I felt they discriminated against us. If you weren't from a prominent family, you were practically invisible. They just didn't seem to care. I remember trying to ask for help or participate, only to be overlooked. It was a painful lesson in social hierarchy, taught by the very people who were supposed to be guiding us with kindness. It felt like they thought acknowledging us, the poor kids, would somehow lower their own status. This isn't an exaggeration. It's truly how I experienced those years. After high school, I was ready for a fresh start at university. I had to take an entrance examination, and to be honest, I failed. I was devastated. When I was called into the dean's office, I was sure they were going to send me away. They told me I hadn't passed, but then they asked me why. They looked at my high school report card, saw my outstanding grades, and noticed my NCEE examination score was 96%. They saw potential beyond that one failed test. To my complete shock and relief, they decided to accept me anyway. I was overjoyed. College life began, and I was so excited. New school, new people, new opportunities. My old friends were there too, which was a comfort. It was through them that I met Joe. Our friendship didn't happen overnight. We were part of the same circle, friends of friends, and we started seeing each other around campus. Gradually, we began talking more, and a real connection formed. That first year of college was a whirlwind. I initially enrolled in accounting, but I quickly realized it wasn't for me. The debits and credits just wouldn't click in my brain, no matter how hard I tried. It was a struggle. So I made a big decision and switched my major to banking and finance. And that's where my story with Joe really began. Joe was kind, funny, and just had this magnetic personality. He was tall, with a warm smile, and he could make me laugh like no one else. When we were together, everything seemed brighter and more fun. The most mundane things became hilarious adventures. He wasn't just a friend. He became my best friend, my buddy. We were inseparable. We studied together, ate our meals together, and he would even crash at our boarding house sometimes. We were a team, and somewhere in all those shared laughs and later night study sessions, I fell for him. It was a slow, creeping realization that terrified me. I knew it was complicated. He was my best friend, the one person I could tell anything to. How could I risk that? I started to pull away, just a little, trying to create some distance to think. I needed to figure out how to choose between this incredible friendship and the possibility of a lover. I convinced myself it was just me, that I was the only one feeling this way. I decided the safest thing to do was to protect our friendship at all costs. So I started to condition myself to see him only as a friend. I began entertaining suitors and eventually got into a relationship with someone else. I never imagined that my decision was hurting him because, as I would find out later, he felt the same way about me. But by then, I was already with someone else. We were both young and respected the situation, so we never crossed that line. Life took another unexpected turn when I got pregnant while I was still studying. It was a challenging time, but I was determined to finish my education. After giving birth, I went back to school with a new baby and a full course load. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but I did it. I graduated. Now, it's been 40 years. So much has changed. But some things haven't. Joe is still in my life. He never married. He's still a bachelor. He's now the principal of the elementary school in our hometown, a respected figure in the community. I visit him sometimes. When I see him, he still gives me the warmest hugs, the kind only a true friend can give. Our story didn't turn into the romance I once secretly hoped for, but it became something just as meaningful. He is, and always will be, one of the most important people in my life. And I'm so grateful to still have my best friend. Thanks for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.